Canes go up 1-0 in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs against the Caps on the road. Stormed the enemy territory, came back, or at least staying there, going into Game 2 with at least one. At least. They play again tomorrow. Playoff hockey. I'm going to do something intentionally today. I'm going to say the Canes won Game 1. I'm going to say the Canes took Game 1. I'm going to say they found a way to get a victory in. I will not say, and I refuse to say, they stole Game 1. That was not a stealing. That was despite what the final score says, in many ways it was a domination in Game 1. Just because they won on the road does not mean they stole, right? This is not Washington wasn't looking and they ran in and grabbed something and slipped it into their pocket and then, walked out of the store. This was they walked into Washington, picked the win up, said, "Hey, I'm taking this," and walked out in plain view. There was no stealing.
This is mine. Bye.
Yeah, it was they allowed it to happen. They made it happen. Sometimes they stole home court or stole home ice is just the way it's talked about, and it's not always the case. Now, if Washington, I don't know, had 33 shots on net to the Canes 14 and the Canes won, then you could argue they stole it. But those aren't the numbers. That's the reverse. Canes finished with 33 shots on net compared with just 14 for Washington. That is a game the Canes deserve to win, and there's a million different ways we could explain it. The total shot attempts was even more drastic. 6 Hurricanes had at least 3 shots on net, including Jacob Slavin, who scored the game winner in overtime. So you could argue he was due, right? Sure, it was a long-distance shot and made it through a bunch of traffic, and if he took that shot a bunch of times, who knows how many times it would see his way all the way through, but it was the 5th attempt from him, right? Jacob Slavin was more aggressive offensively than he traditionally is, and he was rewarded with a shot that may have been low percentage or whatever going through. And by the way, they did what they should. Go back and look at the screenshot when that shot went through. Jarvis was in good position. Stahl was on the backside already battling with a cane, keeping them out of the way. Like, there were players creating traffic, distorting vision lines, and that's why a puck would squeak through.
I mean, if you count the 6 guys in front of the net plus the 1 guy up by Slavin, there's 7 guys between Slavin and the net.
It wasn't a lucky deal. It was calculated.
It wasn't a fluke.
That's the word I'm looking for. That's not a fluke. And as I get more and more and more and more into hockey, I have to remember what it is like for a casual fan. So I got a text during the game last night when the Canes were down 1-0, right? And it's from somebody that is a much bigger, I played college football, I run football circles, somebody that's a much bigger football fan than hockey fan, but they're getting into the Canes, right? Obviously, they're catching the Caniac fever, whatever you want to call it. Here's the text. I wrote it down because I went, oh, this is good. One thing I don't love about hockey compared to football is hockey you can completely dominate, but just let one goal happen and be losing. Football, it's really hard to dominate and lose. That right there, first of all, is true. It's why, football can get away with 1-game playoffs, and in the NHL, you need a 7-game series, right? Because you can dominate a game and lose 2-1. But also, it makes it feel like sometimes the team that's dominating got away with something. The Canes they rang the post.
Rung it?
They rung up and down the post. They hit the post 5 times. Svetch did it twice by himself, and that's a guy that's been buzzing, right? That's a guy who he easily could have scored 2, and we would have looked around and said that's in rhythm for him. It's the Canes had the puck in their offensive zone for 33 minutes and 28 seconds, compared to just 16 minutes and 51 seconds for the Caps. That is dominating time of possession, controlling the tempo, controlling the action, doing everything we talked about before the game yesterday.
Hey, you said 33 minutes and 28 seconds?
Yes.
Yeah, there was 63 minutes of hockey yesterday. So the other 30 minutes was either the Canes had the puck in the neutral zone in their own defensive end, or Washington had the puck somewhere on the ice. I think Washington only had the puck in the offensive end like 17 minutes.
It was 16:51.
There you go.
And I just have this image of right, and you do have to go and back it up with stats like that, because not always the thing you walk away like, did I see that? Is right. But I had this image of the big bad Caps just chasing around the faster Canes all night, right? Just as the puck was moved around the perimeter, as they just skated with a greater velocity. And then you go see something like 33 minutes and 28 seconds in the Canes offensive zone, and you go, actually, yeah, what I saw, what I remembered, it is what happened. So don't go around saying, "Oh, Canes stole one. Oh, they stole home ice. Oh, look at that. They went out there and got lucky." No. The longer the game went on, the more it became something's going to have to give. And give, by the way, give credit to the Caps for doing the things that keep you in games when you're being dominated in all those stats we just said. Throwing their body around. They were not afraid to step in front of some absolute rockets and get blocks prior to reaching the goalie Thompson.
They blocked 36 last night.
That is giving your body up for the team. You give credit for that. You don't have to like the Caps to go, nah.
Hey, you can respect it.
Yeah. Svech, got it was 94 miles an hour, whatever it was. Like, these guys were ripping it, and Caps were doing what you have to do to stay in a game as long as you can when getting beaten in a lot of ways. So give them credit for it, but don't take away from the Canes' domination. Don't take and we can have these conversations. I don't know what the state of North Carolina or the franchise ever did to PK Subban, who's one of the national broadcasters. But when they cut in at intermission of the game following the Canes, and his big takeaway was, Washington didn't play well. Like, don't do that. The Canes, if Washington didn't play well, it's because Carolina was making them not play well, right? If Washington couldn't get into a rhythm, it's because they didn't have the puck, because the Canes were possessing it. It's not like the puck was just sitting free on the ice and Washington couldn't find it. They were watching Aho's line dominate. They were watching Mark Jankowski get hurt and have the Canes actually go down to essentially a 3-line rotation for a big part of the third period and still out-hustle and win 50-50 pucks for the Canes. Like, that's earned. That's not, Washington didn't play well. That's earned by the Canes.
Yeah, outskated them.
Exactly.
Outskated them.
Now, 7-game series, got to do it every game.
True.
But game one, it's if it wasn't a knockout, it was won on the cards unanimously. They won like 9 of the 12 rounds. Like, it was aggressive. And then, of course, Mr. Game 1 did what he had to do.
Let's go.
That's Logan Stankoven. I'm telling you, when that name catches on, make sure you give us a bibliography. Mr. Game 1, he now has 3 playoff goals, all of them coming in game ones. He's played 2 game ones. So he's a goal and a half per game in game ones for the Canes. He is a Mr. Game 1. Here's Stankoven on sticking to what they know and doing it despite maybe not getting the scoring started early.
It's just trust in the game plan. That's what our game is all about. Getting in his eyes and lots of shot volume. That's what Rod preaches. So sometimes not everything's going to go in. So you got to be patient, and worked out well for us tonight.
There were points where Thompson in goal for the Caps. I don't know if it was anybody else noticed this. Seemed like his glove was the guy caught like 80% of the shots sent his way. He would no blocker, didn't need the stick. He's just like, I'm just gonna catch everything.
Except for Stankoven,
and then obviously Slavin, and that's all it took. But again, he's not gonna catch everything if you keep peppering him with targets. That's what you have to keep telling yourself over and over and over and over again. He's not gonna catch them all, or more importantly, the post won't deflect them all. Like, they just keep firing. That's exactly what the Canes did, and they earned the win.